Hello everyone, I am Alyan Fiverrwala and today we have a very special guest and pleasure of sitting down with Sir Richard, someone who knows a lot about staying strong and helping others. He's from Belleville, New Jersey and has done some really cool stuff like being in the army and helping the first responder. Sir Richard is also a writer and speaker sharing his experience and wisdom to inspire people. Let's dive in and learn more about his journey. So, welcome, sir, and how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your amazing podcast.
Thank you so much. So, sir, first of all, I am very, very thankful to you to coming in my show and giving your time. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, before moving on the question, can you please also introduce yourself?
My name is Richard Kaufman, also known as the Comeback Coach. I'm an author, speaker, top rated podcast host, a three-time top selling author, and I help people struggling in life or in business. So I just help people get back on track if they've fallen off track.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. Alright, sir. So, my first question in your screen as a first responder advocate, what inspired you to champion the cause of those on the front line?
Well, I am a veteran, United States Army veteran of 23 years. So for me, veterans and first responders kind of go hand in hand. And I figured that if people like myself struggle with traumatic brain injury, PTSD, that other people struggle with it too. So that's why I figured I'd be a voice of it because it's something that I struggle with even to today.
Okay. Thank you so much for this answer, sir. So, could you share a pivotal moment or experience from your time in the Army National Guard that shaped your perspective on this life?
Yeah, I actually, in 2012, Labor Day 2012, I actually got uh, hurt on duty and lost 60% of my vision. And that's when they medically discharged me and I had to reinvent my life with only half of my vision. So that's when I had to start learning how to be resilient.
All right, it's awesome. So, how do you balance the role of author, motivational speaker, and podcast host in your professional life?
It's I'm very busy. I wake up at 6 in the morning and I work until sometimes 8 o'clock at night. Whether it's promoting a new book, podcast, I have 6 interviews I'm doing today. Whether it's writing articles for LinkedIn, so I just stay busy. I stay busy, but it's a passion. I love what I do, so it's not like it's work. I do it for fun. I enjoy what I do, so for me, it's not even work.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. You are so busy and you gave me time for the interview. Thank you so much for this.
No,
All right, sir. So now tell me what drove you to become a master resilience trainer and how do you incorporate this resilience into your teaching and instruction?
well, being a resilience, they call me the comeback coach because, as you can see, the comeback coach. I've come back from drug addiction, alcoholism, homelessness, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, blindness, bankruptcy, divorces. So I've been there, I've done it, and now it's just helping people not go through the things that I went through. So sometimes I think you can't be a trainer unless you've been trained. So that's why I do what I do now, and it incorporates everything I do, whether it's my podcast, whether it's my books, whether it's my speaking. It's all about coming back from life's adversity.
All right, awesome. So, sir, your podcast vertical momentum has gained significant traction. What topic do you find resonate most with your audience and why?
Again, it would come back to resilience. Our podcast, the Vertical Momentum podcast, actually has over 2 million downloads in I think 100 countries, and it all comes down to resilience. Whether you're the CEO or whether you're the janitor, we're all dealing with the same kind of stuff. Whether it's depression, imposter syndrome, we're all dealing with the same stuff. So pretty much every episode comes back to being resilient in life or business.
Awesome. So, in your opinion, what qualities define a successful digital creator in today's fast-paced online landscape?
Well, I'm seeing now with AI, and we talked about that. AI is coming out. Chat GPT 4.0 or 4, whatever they call it, just came out yesterday. So I think people that use AI, but also people that are real and open and honest, those are the people that are going to succeed, because 90% of the people you're going to see just using AI stuff, and people are going to know that it's fake. And if you're not touching somebody inside, uh, they're not going to follow you if they just see, well, you're just putting everything else that everybody else is doing out. So I think you have to, people that are going to succeed in 2024 and beyond are the people that can take AI and take the human touch and put them together.
Wonderful. All right, sir. So, your podcast success, your why, power, your how delves into the interaction of purpose and achievement. Can you share a personal anecdote where understanding your why lead to significant success?
Yeah. And that was my first podcast. I don't have that anymore. But because if you're a podcaster or any business, you're going to experience tough times. You're going to experience stress. You're going to be looking at your numbers. You're going to be looking at your downloads. And sometimes you're going to get no downloads. And you're wondering, why am I even doing this? So if your why isn't strong enough, you're going to quit. And I think that's why the average podcast lasts less than 13 episodes. And we're at episode 1255. So, and that's why, I came out with you can't see it though. You can't see it here, but came out with the brand new book, and it teaches you how to uh, have a podcast that's purposeful, powerful, and profitable. Because if you don't have those three things, you're not going to make it last past episode 13. So, and for me, um, my whys are, this is the way my life is. It's God, family, friends, and business. If it doesn't have to do with those four things, I'm not going to do it, because it's not going to get me closer to my goal. And so those are my whys. And once you figure out your why, then finding out the how is going to be easy.
So, so how do you navigate the challenges of promoting other while also building your own personal brand and platforms?
Well, like my one of my mentors and friends, Gary Vaynerchuk, also known as Gary V, talked to me and told me that if I promote my friends 10 times more than I promote myself, I'll never have to promote myself. So anytime, well, almost anytime that I do a post on any social media, I'm always promoting somebody else. And then in turn, people promote me without me even having to ask for them. So I think if you promote your friends 10 times more than you promote yourself, you won't have to promote yourself. Like I just got a notification that I was featured in a magazine yesterday for influencers that somebody else put me in for, that I didn't even apply for. But because I'm friends with them and I'm always supporting them, they're putting me in magazines, books, podcasts, TV shows, just because I'm helping promote others. So, stop promoting yourself and start promoting others, and you'll see you will start to rise.
Wonderful, sir. So, as someone deeply rooted in your community, how do you actively contribute to the betterment of Northern Elton, New Jersey?
Well, where I live, I'm actually part of. It's called the Municipal Alliance, where I help keep kids off of drugs, alcohol, help them with any mental health issues. I speak regularly at events. So, and my daughter is 12 years old and she goes to school locally. So I'm just here for all the kids to say, hey, you don't have to do drugs. You don't have to use alcohol. You don't have to, bow down to peer pressure. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And it's okay. It's okay to be healthy. So that's what I do for my town. I don't get paid for it. I volunteer my time, but if I can make a difference and save a child's life, then it's worth it. So that's what I do for my town.
Okay, sir. All right. So, could you elaborate on the role of faith in your life and how it influences your advocacy work and motivational speaking?
My faith is everything, and I believe that you know I want to leave this world a much better place than when I first got here. And but we all know that nobody lives forever, and you want to make a big of an impact every day. So for me, every day I wake up, I'm thinking about making an impact. And when I go to bed at night, I'm thinking about making a bigger impact on this world. So for me, faith has everything to do with what I do, and I know what I do. There's no reason that I should have be a three-time best-selling author. I didn't even finish high school. I'm a ninth grade dropout. So without my faith and without him, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So for me, faith is everything. Some people like it, some people don't like it, but it's my journey. It's not somebody else's journey. And once you realize that there's something bigger out there than you, then it makes things a lot easier because you're just not depending on yourself. You're depending on somebody else.
Exactly, sir. Wonderful answer. So, from your experience, what are some effective strategies for fostering resilience in individuals facing adversity?
Well, first we got to realize, where we're at. We have to realize um, you've made it 100% of the days in your life, whether they've been bad or good, you're still here. And you also have to realize that just because you fail at something, that doesn't mean that you're a failure. And I tell everybody that failure is an event, it's not a person. So, but once you realize, okay, I failed at this, but I'm failing forward, then it's okay. But then you also have to, like my friend James Clear wrote in his book, Atomic Habits. Sometimes you have to stack your wins and remember the times that you've won. Because sometimes we always remember our failures, but we don't remember the times we've actually won. So sometimes we got to go back and be like, you know what, I failed at this, but I've won at this. So let me go back to starting to stack my wins and stack my successes. And don't worry about the failures because as long as you're failing forward, you're not really failing anyway, as long as you're learning. And now if you're failing and not learning, then you have a bigger issue that most people don't understand.
Wonderful, sir. So, as an author, what themes or message do you strive to convey through your writing work?
That your past does not dictate your future. That no matter where you've been, you have a bigger future ahead of you. And because a lot of people, they worry about well what happened in the past, and they don't realize well it really doesn't matter what happened in the past as long as you learn from it, take it and use it as fuel for your future. So for me, I shouldn't. I mean, like I said, I'm a ninth grade dropout. There's no reason I should have, be a three-time top-selling author, a top 0.5 percent podcast host, has interviews millionaires, billionaires, authors, athletes, doctors, psychologists. I shouldn't be here, but I can't worry about what happened in my past. I could just learn from it and move on. So that's my point, and that's why I wear the shirt. Today, I decide that my past doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters is my future.
It's great, sir. So, how do you approach networking and connection with other professionals in your field to create mutually beneficial opportunities?
Now, I'm very big on LinkedIn. I think I have over almost 30,000 connections now. 30,000. So for me, it's all about connection. It's all about, if I want somebody to come on my show, I don't be like, hey, bro, why don't you come on my show? I have a top podcast. That's not how I do it. I'll approach that person and say, hey, I see you got a brand new book out. I would love for you to come on the show so I can promote your book. And for me, it's all about adding value before I ask for anything, because people will show up. People, you can have the most famous people in the world come on your show, as long as you're willing to provide them value before you ask for anything. So for me, that's how I collaborate. And everybody I've ever had on my show, I think we're at 1,255 episodes. I'm friends with every single one of them. So I spend 2 to 3 hours every morning interacting with my friends and my audience, uh, posting, reposting people's stuff, commenting on people's stuff, wishing everybody on my friends list happy birthdays through DMs on their Facebook pages. So for me, it's all about relationships and building real relationships on and offline.
All right, sir. So, your background includes studying at NCSF. How has your education in fitness nutrition informed your approach to science and well-being?
Well, one thing that I talk about all the time is, without health, there is no wealth. If you're not healthy, you won't be able to enjoy your wealth. You're going to be paying for doctors, you're going to be paying for hospital stays, you're going to be paying for nurses. So you're not going to be able to afford the boat, the house, the car, because you're trying to get healthy. I mean, so I always tell people, without wealth, there is no health. I mean, without health, there is no wealth. That's why I went to school, to learn how to be a personal trainer, so I can help people get not only healthy physically, but also help people get health fiscally. So I want them to be healthy in their body, but also be healthy in their finances and their relationships. So because you're each person, we all have, you know, different parts of the person, but we're all the same person. We all have physical health, mental health, spiritual health, financial health. And if one of those four or five things are off, everything's going to be off. So that's why I teach everybody, the first part of getting healthy fiscally is to start getting healthy physically.
Okay, sir. Awesome. So, what advice would you give to aspiring authors looking to share their stories and insight with the world?
Find out what your purpose is. Find out if there's a need out there for what you do. Because, you know, if you write a book that nobody needs, nobody's going to buy it. But you got to realize somebody's going to buy it, because there's I don't know, I don't even know the number anymore. It's like 8 billion people in this world. Maybe 100 will buy your book. So, try to find out what your what your passion is, what somebody else would want to read about, and then write a book, put it out there, and use it as a tool. Like for me, the word author is short for the word authority. So if you're an author, that means you're an authority on the subject. You're pretty 99% of times you're not going to get rich off your book. 50% of the time you won't even make a profit. But if you have the word author in your byline or in your LinkedIn, you're gonna be known as the authority. So you're gonna be able to start booking uh, public appearances, speaking gigs, uh, autograph signings, and stuff like that. Because once you become the authority in your niche, that's when you could start using it you know to move up in the corporate world. So you know, find your passion, write a book, and then push it out there and scale it.
Wonderful advice, sir. Awesome. So, can you share a particular memorable moment from your time at Kumar General Nutrition Center that influenced your career trajectory?
Yes, actually, the owner of Kumar's GNC, my friend Kumar, uh, he comes from India. He taught me how to be a businessman. He taught me how to run $1 million company. And like I said, you know, I was a ninth grade dropout, running $1 million company because he took the time to teach me and to mentor me. And we took that company from 400,000 to 1.4 million in 3 years. Me and him working together. So and we won, top top GNC in the country. So if it wasn't for Kumar, and I'm actually going to hang out with him on Saturday. I mean Friday, we're going to have breakfast together. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to run a business, to learn how to market, to learn how to what's a profit and loss statement. What is margin? What is all this stuff? If he didn't take me under his wing and teach me everything, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. So I give all the glory and all the honor to Kumar.
That's great, sir. So, how do you prioritize self care and maintain balance amidst your busy schedule and numerous professional commitments?
Um, hmm. Well, and I did a post about this the other day on my Facebook page. No matter how successful you are, you still struggle. You still have those days where you're dealing with imposter syndrome. You're dealing with outside forces that you have nothing to do with, but you still have to do it. And as a business owner, it's tough. Everybody wants to be a business owner until you got to do business owner stuff. So for me, I had to take, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I shut the phone off. I shut the computers off. I went and took a 2 hour nap. I'm like, you know what? I need to just relax for a couple hours. And for me, the way I do everything is I run everything through a scheduler. I run everything through Calendly. So I schedule everything, even fun, I will schedule. So for me, video games, that's my one release. Playing guitar is another one. So I make sure that I add those things into my life every day to enjoy life a little bit. Because what's the sense of working hard if you can't enjoy it? But something I also do is come 6 o'clock at night, I shut my phone off. I shut my phone off. I shut my computer down, and I will not be on until 6 o'clock the next morning. And that's when I spend time with my wife, my kids, watching TV and all that stuff. So you have to take time to be with your family. Because what's the sense of doing all this stuff if we can't even enjoy life and have some fun? So make sure and I always say that um, you can't pour from an empty cup. If your cup is empty, you can't pour into anybody else. If you don't have money, you cannot give anybody else money. Same thing with mental health. If you're not healthy mentally, you cannot help somebody else that's struggling mentally. So you got to take care of yourself. And like they say, when you're flying on an airplane, if the oxygen mask comes down, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then help somebody else.
All right, sir. So, lastly, how has your partnership and marriage with Mikhail Kaufman influenced your personal and professional journey?
My wife is my best friend, my life, my soul. We've been we've known each other 40 years now, and without her, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. She's given me everything. She's given me three beautiful children. We have a beautiful home. I'm actually building a brand new podcast studio, um, and she is the CEO of the company. She handles all the bills. She handles everything. So without without my wife and my bride, I call her my bride. We've been to get married 15 years. Without her, this wouldn't even be. And I believe behind every successful man is a strong woman. Because sometimes there's times where I'm tired, I'm weak, I just want to quit, and she'll be like, "No, you can't quit. You're 6 years in, 1,500 episodes. You can't quit now." So without my wife, I wouldn't have what I have, and I wouldn't be the man I am without her. And she makes me be a better husband, better father, better son. So without her, none of this is even possible.
Awesome, sir. I appreciate your wife effort. So, sir, as our conversation comes to close, we are truly grateful to you for sharing your inspiring story and valuable insight with us. Your words remind us that no matter what challenge we face, resilience and helping hand can make all difference. Thank you, sir, for showing us the power of strength and kindness. Thank you so much, sir, for your time again.
Thank you so much for having me on your amazing podcast.
Thank you.